Hello PAX South, my name is Adam Sadiq of Diacritical Games, and this is my submission to the Indie Tabletop Showcase for my game, That's a Wrap. So in That's a Wrap, players are movie directors. The gist is you've been hired by a major movie studio on a 4-year contract, and the goal of the game is to be the director at the end of that contract with the most Oscar awards. And only that director will get an extension on their contract, and basically everyone else will get cut, so that's kind of what you're going for. Each year, each round, you're going to make a movie, and you make a movie by kind of building it through various parts. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a genre, you're going to bid on and hire actors and buy scripts, you're going to deal with, of course, some studio meddling, and then after all that's done, you release the movies to the theaters. And then at the end of each round, there is an Oscar season that ends in an Oscar ceremony. And that's where you win the awards, which are the victory points of the game. So now I will simulate how a round works, just so you can see a bit of how the gameplay goes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make a movie in That's a Wrap. So normally there will obviously be more than one person playing, but for this purpose I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process of making a movie just with me. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to reveal all the actors and scripts that are available for hire or purchase this round, so I've already done that. The next thing that's going to happen is everyone is going to choose the genre for their movie. So everyone starts with the same slate of 4 genres. You get access to a few later, but just for the basic ones you start with comedy, horror, action, and drama. Now these genres kind of have different, abilities, and it's thematic, They all have money symbols and award symbols, or Oscar symbols as I call them. So you can see something like in action, it's going to have 2 money and, no award potential. Something like drama is the exact opposite of that. It's going to be all awards and no money. Something like comedy is a little more balanced. It's got 1 and 1. And then horror is a lot of money. You get 3 money, but you actually have -1 to awards because it's actively detrimental to try to win awards as a horror movie. So for this purpose, we are actually going to go with comedy. So we're going to get that 1 and 1. So the next thing we're going to do, there's a bidding process to win the scripts and the actors, but since it's just me, we're just not going to go through the bidding. So, imagine that there's a furious fighting over which scripts and actors that we want. But, just for this, we're just going to do me. So for the scripts we have at our scripts that we could potentially purchase, the first one we could get is Talking Animals. That has, 3 money and 1 script. It's really not very well written. And then we have next to that Splosions. If we wanted to not go for that script at all, it gives you 5 money, but it's horribly written. Something like Bizarre, good awards potential, but not great money. And the last one is a monster movie. So it has 3 and 3. It has actually synergy with horror, so it works really well with that genre, but it's still a 3 and 3. It's pretty a solid script. So that's actually the one that we were going to go with for this purpose. So we're making a comedic monster movie, kind of make of that what you will. So the actors next, you need 1 script and 1 actor for your movie. You get access to, you could have multiple actors in your movie at the later time in the game, but for the beginning you only get 1. So there's Rising Star, there's that guy. There's the ugly Shakespearean, who's a very good actor. And then we have the good-looking guy, who I cannot say the same for, but he'll pull in a little bit of money. So just kind of like the monster movie, that is the 3 and 3. We're going to go with that guy. So he's also, pretty balanced, just like the comedy and the monster movie. So normally we would pay, we'd get into a bidding war just over those, but again, for this purpose. So the next thing that happens is the studio round. So everyone has a hand of studio cards, and these are cards that represent studio meddling or good or bad things that can happen to your movie. You can play them on yourself or someone else. So there's a bit of a, there can be potentially a little bit of take that mechanic, although you do have to give up a little director influence in order to play something on someone else. So for this purpose, this round, I'm going to play the studio card Best Original Song, which Best Original Song in a comedic monster movie starring that guy is, you know, I'll let you kind of fill in with your imagination what that could possibly be. So that kind of, if you see on the card, it has the same OSCE symbol. Basically just gives you another chance. It gives you better awards potential. So the next thing that happens is the profit phase. So how that works is you take all of the dollar signs in your movie, you add them up, and you roll the dice, and you add it to that. So with this, we have 3 for the monster movie, 3 for that guy, and we also have 1 for comedy. So that is 7 in total. So basically you're gonna have 7, you're gonna roll the dice, see what you get. And then with that, we got a 3 and a 2. So the dice actually, they go 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So the highest you can roll is an 8. So let's say I got 5 here, plus the 7 is 12. So that would make my movie, for the purposes of this game, there's a kind of a tier system. So it would fall into the profitable tier, which means it would make 15 million. And you'd also get a little bit of like director influence, just gain a little influence within the industry. Yeah, so you do that and everyone goes through the profit round, and after that is the OSCE season. So with that, you can nominate your script, you can nominate your actor, you can also nominate your director. And how that works is, just like the money symbols, you add up all of the relevant OSCE symbols for that category. So for script, it's the pen. For the actor, it's going to be this star at the bottom. And you're going to also add all these wreath symbols. You see it, 1 on comedy, 1 on best original song, and those kind of count for all of them. So how that works is you add up all the symbols and you roll the dice, and you have to hit at least 10. So for monster movie, you have 3 plus 2 from those wild symbols. Same with that guy, 3 plus the 2. So you'd start with 5. So you'd have to roll a 5 on the dice in order to win. You know, the idea is that there are other studios with other movies that are competitive. So you have to be the highest over 10 in your group in order to win the OSCE. So let's say I'm going to go for monster movie and that guy. So both have 5. So I'll roll for monster movie first. And I got 2 and 2, so that gives me 9. So monster movie would, unfortunately, it would be, you know, snubbed at the OSCE ceremony. And then there's that guy, also have 5. Let's see if I can have a little more luck here. And I do, wow, okay, I get 8, which again is the maximum, so I got 13. So it would be really difficult for other people to beat him. He was the best monster. He probably sang the best original song too. Yeah, that's just kind of a breakdown of how the rounds work. So that's a pretty brief overview of That's a Wrap. Obviously the game is a lot more dynamic with more than just one person playing, but that's kind of a pretty good overview of just kind of how things really work. The game plays 3 to 5 players, and it's generally about 15 minutes per player. Once you know the game, obviously the first time will take a little bit longer. The thing that I really like the most about the game is just the sheer number of like combinations you can come up with. I worked it out, and between the genres, the scripts, and the actors, you can get over 50,000 combinations of films. Of course, you know, some of them you probably will never see, but you know, it's all possible. And then with the studio cards that can modify things, you know, the number goes even higher. There have been some really great combinations in there as well, so that's, I think, a really fun thing. You can make a horror chick flick starring a washed-up actress, or it's like an art house action movie starring a child star, something like that. You know, all kinds of weird combinations. The things that, you know, people I've played with have come up with are just hilarious, and I think that's where the real fun of the game comes in, is kind of leaning into it. You make these weird movies, watch them make a ton of money, win awards, and you get really invested in that kind of thing. And I think that's where the real fun comes from in this game. And I think it really shows through in the mechanics and when it's played. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate the opportunity to submit this, and I hope that you know, I will be in consideration for this showcase. Thank you.